Welcome to Rick's Corner. I finally found a set that is exactly what I want. A ring post corner. And I came up with this, and I'm thrilled to death to finally have a place where I want to talk from. It's great. I hope you guys like it. Well, many of you have written in and you've asked me about the diet of the 70s. What did we eat to train? What was it you took as far as protein? What about your carbs? How often did you eat? How many meals a day? What about bedtime did you eat before you went to bed? Well, I'm going to tell you all of that. But I wanted to also say that it was an all-you-can-eat place. You don't find that today. The economy doesn't warrant that. But a few funny things. Next to the Muscle Beach gym, there was a smorgasbord that said, big sign, all you can eat, $3.95, something to that effect. Well, of course, bodybuilders would run in there right away because, look, you can fill up and you can get all the food you want and never go away hungry. So they took their gym bags with them, lined them in foil, loaded them up with chicken breasts, and left the place. One guy came out one day and he came to me and he says, you know what? I just ate at that smorgasbord. I ate 32 meatballs. 32 meatballs! Who can eat 32 meatballs? My God. I mean, you can't assimilate that much protein in one sitting anyway, but he was so proud of it, he went back the next night and did it over and over again. Well, for several years, the bodybuilders ate there. Then one day the manager came up and said, no more. You guys are out of here. I can't afford to feed you. It's costing me more than I'm making. Change the sign from all you can eat to the best you could eat. Raise the prices, and that was the end of that. So they went in search of another place. Up the hill in Westchester, there was another one, a Swedish smorgasbord, all you can eat. They closed that one down too. So the privilege that we had to go to those places and eat was taken away. And then we had to go pay for food like at Norm's, and on steak night or fish night, it was all the fish you could eat and all the steak you could eat. Of course, they served it very slow, so you wouldn't sit there for hours upon hours until you ate a certain quantity, and then they'd run you out of there as well. But the diet was pretty simple. I mean, even Arnold and I, we'd go to Zucchi's Deli in the morning. We'd have a cheese omelet with cottage cheese, and that was usually breakfast. If I ate at home, I had this little machine called a Presto Burger, and I'm still trying to find them. I don't think they make them anymore. Big enough to grill one patty on both sides for about a minute. You plug it in, it's electric. So I had the hamburger patty, and I had my scrambled eggs, and I didn't have any cottage cheese, just had a little bit of juice and some protein, and then off to the gym. That was pretty much the breakfast diet back then, eggs and hamburger patties. Then lunch was usually chicken breast, like we do today, or tuna. Sometimes I had egg salad with it, and I always seemed to have cottage cheese with it because cottage cheese was a good source of protein and a good source of calcium. And that was pretty much what I would eat for lunch, or Arnold and any of us. It would be cheese omelets or chicken, usually chicken, or tuna and eggs, and then some cottage cheese. Supplements weren't really big back then. There weren't a big number of them. Real Blair's protein, which I've mentioned before, was good. It was pretty costly, but it was good. And it was more of the high-fat diet, high-protein diet, low-carb, because fat is used for energy. It's not stored as fat, as so many people think that are just average, everyday people. And they say, oh, you're eating egg yolks, you're eating fat, you're going to eat high cholesterol. But that wasn't the case, because fat really is used to burn instant energy, where carbohydrates are stored in the body, and they're stored as fat. So you have protein, you have fat, and you have carbohydrates. If you have all three in abundance, you're going to get fat, so you have to drop out one of them. And what we dropped out were the carbs. Now, after lunch in the afternoon was usually a good time for a protein drink or a big tuna salad. That was pretty much standard. If you had fruit at all, which is a carbohydrate, you ate it alone because fruit and protein create gases and they don't digest properly. But even at that, it was still carbohydrates. You didn't want to eat it. Pastas were no. Rice was no, or rice in very little amount. Potatoes were a no-no, and bread was a no-no. So you didn't have any of those things. Dinner would come around. I used a hibachi, and I used to make hamburger patties, 2 of them, every night. Barbecue them with cheese on them, with a salad, and some cottage cheese. That was dinner. And pretty much that was the standard for almost everybody. Hamburger patties and cottage cheese. Maybe some eggs as well. Or steak, or fish, or chicken. Any one of the above. Fish isn't a real favorite of a lot of people because it's fishy and it doesn't really satisfy you and it leaves you kind of empty. But it is a good #1 source of protein, as is turkey. Bedtime, well, was usually a protein drink. But a lot of us would go to Zucchi's Deli. This is our hangout back at the beach back then. And around 11 o'clock at night would have a cheese omelet with cottage cheese. That was a pretty good source of protein. And you'd sleep on it, and it wasn't heavy. You know, you could do that. I could do that because I was in my 30s, and of course, metabolism was different. I was burning body fat rapidly, and I ate quite a bit of food. I didn't go overboard. I don't know anybody who really went overboard. 3 chicken breasts at dinner was standard. If I do 1.5 now, it's a lot. I just get really full at my age. But that was a pretty decent diet. Now, we did this Monday through Saturday. Sunday was the junk day. Sunday, you could eat anything in the world you want. And I know guys that would go out and eat a whole pizza and cakes and cookies and pies and all that kind of stuff. And I was guilty of it as well. My wife at the time would make me spaghetti and meatballs for dinner, a big Jell-O mold, which I always liked, and a whole cheesecake. And I would pretty much eat all of it and crawl away from the table on my hands and knees burping. It was so uncomfortable. You go to the gym on Monday, you're 6 pounds up, you're bloated, you're full of water, but you're back on your diet. By Tuesday, you've lost it all and you're back in shape again. Like I say, at a younger age, your metabolism can handle that, and so it's not a big deal. If I do that today, I feel fat for a week, and it won't come off near as quick, if at all. So I don't do that anymore. Those junk days nowadays might be a couple of cookies on a Sunday, and that's about it. Try to limit the breads now, try to limit the pastas and all that kind of stuff. Rice is okay, you know, it's a form of energy. But for 2 years, I tried the fish and the carb diet and dropped all the fats out. For 2 years solid, every day fish or chicken, rice, vegetables, very little rice. The fats were completely gone. I didn't have any egg yolks or anything that had fat in it, and just the carbs and the protein, and I got lean and really, really hard. And of course, having the carbs didn't make me moody, because the lack of carbs can make you very moody. It was a really good diet, and it worked really well. At 45, it was probably my best shape ever from eating like that. Lean and very, very lean. But as time rolls on, you know, you introduce more things to your diet again, and you want to eat, and so that's the way it is. But the 70s diet is really basic. Like I said, it was high protein, low carb, and higher fats. In fact, a lot of the guys are mixing cream with their protein because cream had a fat content that would be used as energy. So Arnold was no different. Draper did the same thing. Draper ate a lot of tuna. All the guys did the same. Ken Waller also. Ken Waller used to live on chicken breasts, a lot of chicken breasts. He used to go over to Colonel Sanders and get them big chickens in a bucket and eat them all day long. So when you ask what we ate, that's pretty much it. I don't remember anything outside of that was really out of the ordinary. Saturday night, sometimes we'd hit the House of Pies and go crazy with pie and ice cream. It would be Arnold, I, Draper, a whole bunch of guys would go over there and just really load up on it. Of course, the next day you feel bloated, your eyes all puffy from the sugar, but you go out to the gym and you had a hell of a pump. I mean, it definitely did the job, and you felt really good for those 2 days, and then you're back on your diet again. Of course, you get lean, and it works very well. So when you question me about what we ate, that's pretty much it. Protein supplements, like I said, I got them from Real Blair. Some I got from just a health food store. Joe Weider had some at the time. I don't know if I took any of those. I don't think I did. I know that Arnold tried some because they were free, and so we took them that way. But basically, it came from foods, not so much the supplements. A protein drink in the afternoon was pretty much it. So that's my answer. When you ask me what we ate, that's what we ate. I'm still eating that way today, 35 years later, and I don't really deviate from it. It's kind of boring in a way, but there are nights when I go out and I have the prime rib and the baked potato and the garlic bread and all that, and I feel it tastes great, but afterwards I feel lousy. You know how that goes. And back on the diet the next day. So stay tuned to Rick's Corner. I'll bring you more facts from years ago when things were really cool back in the 70s era. I wish you all could have been there with me. I'd love to go back in time just for 1 week and take all of you with me and hang out down at the beach and just have a blast. Wouldn't that be great? God, we had a great time, wouldn't we? All right, stay tuned to Rick's Corner next time when I bring you more info. Thanks again.